Good morning, everyone. This is Laura with Busy Bee Farms, and this is my garden. And welcome. Today we are going to kind of go through the garden, and then I also want to share some news with you that happened this week. We ordered some turkeys, and they came, so I wanted to share that information with you this week as well. But first, we're going to start off here in the garden, just so that I can give you a tour and let you see how things are growing. I think it's been a week or two since I have done a video in the garden, and so things are growing. We're getting cucumbers to make pickles, and I've gotten some green beans, and that's about all right now. I do have lots of tomato plants that have set fruit, and so we're just waiting for all of that to start turning, and then process those tomatoes. But this is our garden. This is our front garden, and we have tomatoes and peppers and cucumbers, green beans, and a butternut squash plant that's growing in this garden. So I'm just going to take you down some of the rows here, and so you can kind of see what's going on. This first row is our Jetstar row. Usually has produced really well, and I think it's because they're not getting enough sun that they are kind of shorter than everything else, because this row gets a lot of shade. It gets sun more towards the afternoon and then the evening, but I think that's the problem with that row of this row of tomatoes, because Jetstars usually do really well for us. This row is our Jalapeno row, the not hot jalapenos, and I mean, they're doing okay. I think I have maybe one bloom down there, but nothing going yet. So hopefully soon they will start to produce some blossoms. This next row is Jet Setter, which is another hybrid off of the Jetstar. It's our first year to grow these, and they are doing okay. Take you down this row here. These up here towards the shade are not as bushier or as big, but these, as we go down the row, like, that's a good sized little tomato, and they get bigger and bushier. I've had to start using some strings to tie them up because they are just growing and taking off. There's another little tomato down in there. There's some down in there. I'm starting to notice a little bit of damage on my bottom leaves. I really don't know if it's an early type of blight going on or what's going on with them. I have not sprayed anything on these plants other than some fish emulsion and then just watering them. That is all I have done. I've not done any kind of disease prevention or organicide or anything like that. And I've not seen any more worms yet, knock on wood somewhere. So I'm kind of holding out as long as I can. I don't like to spray if I don't have to. So the ones down here are doing a lot. I think they have a lot more on them. There's a good tomato, and then these down here have clusters of tomatoes. There's a cluster kind of throughout, and these right here are my first bell peppers. These are the Sweetie Mix mini bells, and so they all have a couple of fruit already on them growing, as you can see right there. And over here, I need to go back and read again about this variety and see. I can't remember if they turn colors. I think they do, but I'm sure I can just pick them green too and eat them that way. But I can't remember how big that variety gets as far as the bell pepper goes. But they are doing good. They're doing the best out of all the peppers I have. Those have several, And down there on the end, and there's the girls this morning. They love when I come out to the garden, don't you girls? Yep, we talk. Yep. And then you girls get treats. Yeah, you sure do. This next row is Amish paste and red Goliath. And over here, this is the red Goliath ones. And they have several right there. Those look really good right in there. And it's starting to set more fruit up here as it goes. I was out this week trellising these up again because they are just growing so much. I've been trying to water them more diligently, and so because we are still not receiving very much rain. This is a sunflower, and then these right here are bell peppers, and they are finally starting to get some fruit, trying to set some blooms and set fruit on them. And this is still red Goliath, so it's growing some right there and up there. Oops, sorry. But these right here, these peppers are the Emerald Giants, which I grew last year, and they did not get this bushy. They did not look this good last year. So I am actually very excited to see what they really set fruit and do. So let's see. And on up here are the Amish paste tomatoes. You can see these are more oblong instead of the slicing tomatoes. You can use these for sauce and things. We've never really had a good harvest of sauce tomatoes, so we'll see what these do this year. We'll see. Every year is different. I know there is one teeny tiny one. It's been my very first tomato, and it is probably red and ready to pick. I'll have to find it. But these grow really, really tall. I remember in the past when they've grown really, really tall and still just growing up there. And then some of them sometimes will just fall back over, and if you keep them on the fence right and don't break the stems, they will still grow tomatoes. So more peppers over here, more pepper plants. No fruit on these yet. Let's see, there it is. There's that Amish paste tomato that's just about fully, probably ready to pick, but not much that I would really do with that little bitty tomato. Let's see what else we've got growing here. Jalapeno row right here, kind of looking a little pitiful. Let's see, I don't know. Part of me wonders if it's the walnuts that maybe are getting over here on them and it's not good for them. But my jalapenos have always done pretty good. But this year they're not. There's a couple of plants down there. We'll get to those, but they're not doing fabulous. This row is celebrities, and this is the row that is just doing awesome this year. Just about every plant has these clusters, and I think I have shown you in the last video several of these that are just huge, and they are just lots and lots of tomatoes. I'll switch over here. Here's a few jalapenos growing in there. Usually I have a lot more, but I may go ahead and pick those in a little, soon, so that it'll just keep producing more, hopefully. But those are the celebrities. And we'll get down here and look at the other. There's a group down in there. Each one of these just has clusters of tomatoes that I have just never seen, even on the celebrities that I've grown in the past. I don't remember them just growing these clusters like this. So it's just beautiful. Look at all those tomatoes. And this one right here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. There's like 11, 12 tomatoes on this one plant. It's crazy. And those are getting really big. I'm going to feel around those and make sure there's no bugs. Because I think this was the plant that we had the little worm on. But we've only seen that one worm, knock on wood. We have not seen any more, but that's just awesome. Can't wait for those to turn red. And then down here, I'm going to switch over to our peppers. Right here, these are poblano peppers, and they are starting to, I thought I just saw one a minute ago. I think they're starting to set fruit too. I really thought I just saw a pepper. Maybe I just saw, yeah, here they are. It's starting to grow its little pepper right there. And they have several blooms on them, so hopefully they will do really well. And these are, let's see, I have one serrano pepper plant and one, it's already got some on there, so I'll probably pick those pretty soon. Let it keep growing. These right here are the orange spice jalapenos, and there are a couple on there. There's one, and there's one right there. These just have not gotten big and bushy or anything like that, so I'm not sure. Oh, it looks like we've got some cherry tomatoes finally starting to turn. We'll have to get over there to that row. Let's see. These are the Sweet 100s, and they are starting to turn. Here's a group. There's a group growing. There's a group now growing. Our weather, the last time I did a video, we were in a big drought, and we had not received any rain in like a month. And so after that, we did receive a couple of days of just showers, like 30 minutes, and that's it. We didn't get a whole lot. But the temperatures dropped down some to where it's not constantly 100 degrees and still very hot and humid at night. We've had some of those days return. Oh, sorry. My eye caught some cucumbers. I did not get to come down and pick cucumbers. We are having to pick cucumbers every day because there are so many of them. So I caught my eye caught those cucumbers. But we're not having as high of heat. Like earlier in the week, it was actually nicer during the day. So I think that has really helped with some of my tomatoes setting their fruit instead of their fruit drying, or their blooms drying up and falling off. So, but that's good. And this is another cherry tomato plant, and it's got a few growing here. This is one that started and it lost some of its blossoms. But those right there, they're starting to fill out, and these up here. So hopefully we'll have more and more of those pretty soon. And then this is the Horizon tomato that I told you we got a trial of. It's still growing. It's okay. Not growing fabulous. I guess I ended up planting 3 of the Sweet 100 cherry tomatoes. I didn't realize that I thought I got a... I thought I planted 2 black strawberry ones, but I guess I ended up planting 3 of the Sweet 100s, which is okay. That's fine. What happened with that seed tray is some of the labeling didn't get done right, and so I ended up with several tomato plants that didn't have a label on them. So I have mystery tomato plants in some of these places. So, and that's one of them where I thought it was the black strawberry tomato, but no, it's not. It's one of the sweet 100s, and that's okay. It's growing several down there and right here, and it's actually growing tall, so I'm gonna have to kind of watch that to help it not break. So this is the black strawberry cherry tomato plant. It has this one little stem on it, and there's one turning right there. So I'm just waiting for them to fully ripen. It looks like we've got some more growing right here. Hopefully we'll get a few more out of this since I only got one plant. It's got several little blooms here. Let's see, right there will be some more. So hopefully we will see some more of those. And this next plant is the pink beefsteak. And looks like it's starting to kind of set some fruit right there. I think I planted a few of these. And this one, yeah, the plants have grown. Okay, so here's some blooms and some blooms here. So hopefully soon it will set some tomatoes. Oh, there's some blooms. So hopefully we'll start seeing something soon on these. Here's a few down here. I'll get to the other side. It's just on this side I have them labeled, so it was easier for me to see. And then these right here are the sunny Goliaths. And we have some growing right there. And there's these right here. They're a yellow tomato. I've never really eaten a yellow tomato, never grown a yellow tomato, so we're gonna see what it does. So it has a few kind of nestled in there. And we'll get on this side here, a sunflower that's growing. And another sunflower. We planted a few up and along the way here. You have to be careful now that everything's growing so we don't step on it. Let's see. These right here are, let me turn this way so the sun's not in y'all's eyes. These are jalapenos. I'm going to grab this weed. These are the only weeds we see, the ones that grow right up beside the plant in those holes. Did I say jalapeno? These are cayennes. I think I said jalapeno. I meant to say cayennes. Those are cayennes. And this is another cayenne. There's those black strawberry ones. And then there is some more growing. And like I said, there's cherry tomatoes. It's finally starting to put on a lot of blooms. That's awesome. I wanted to dehydrate some of these to have for like in the winter for soups and things that I can just toss back in there for flavor and tomatoes. Let's see. This is a poblano that was left over from the other row. So we tucked that there. And then, let's see, I have to look at my list. There's a couple of ancho chilies, and that's what these are right here. I think there's about 3 or 4 of those. And they are getting ready to set fruit. Remember, I picked one a couple weeks ago, and so that the plant could kind of focus on growing its leaves. And so that's what it has done. They have grown and doing good. Now I got to get out here and go through these cucumbers. We are harvesting tons of those cucumbers. But this next row I want to talk to you a little bit about because it is kind of just awesome. There's one surprise at the end I want to show you that I just did not expect to happen. This is the honey nut butternut squash plant, and there are several of these plants, and there's lots of fruit that is being set there. I'm really having to watch these now for squash bugs. Lots of squash bugs, especially towards that middle plant. Thursday night, let's see, today's Saturday, so Thursday night I had to really go through them. I found some eggs. I found a few squash bugs that I could see. I'm sure now, 2 days later, there's more. And there's some bug damage. I'm not sure exactly what's eating this. They're still growing fine, but I am starting to see signs that the plant is having issues. Something is kind of nibbling on it, and then the battle of the squash bugs. But like I said, it is setting lots of fruit, especially over here. These are the ones that have had the bad squash bugs, like right there. And I am gonna get him and just stomp him. Anytime I see him, if I see them and I have my soapy water out here, I can put them in that. If not, I've just been squishing them and getting rid of them anytime I see them, so that they will leave my plants to grow. And then usually if I see one, I'll start picking up my leaves to see if I have any squash bug eggs. But we have lots of fruit, like there's one, and there's one down there, and here, right over in there. This one right here, I think, is one of the very first ones that was set, so I'm waiting for it to turn the orange color. I think these are pretty, these grow, like it takes them a long time. I can't remember how many days. I have to go back and look. The bumblebees have absolutely loved these plants and the cucumbers this year. We've seen lots and lots of those. I will have to come back out and look at the squash bugs in a little while. But that's been the battle there. So on to what I really wanted to show you. So this is the plant that was the surprise seed. This is a cushaw pumpkin plant, and you've heard the story. If you've been watching the channel, you heard the story that I put 6 of these in a tray to start, and then they didn't germinate. And so then I just reused the soil, picked out the seeds, and so forth. Well, one came up in my tomato plants, and this is the one. And I planted it, and it has completely taken off. And down here on the end, I'm going to show you, because it has gotten huge. Here is one that's growing, but down here on the end, let me get rid of these bugs. Let me stomp these bugs on my plant. And there again, watching these, but this is the cushaw pumpkin. It is huge. I had no idea that it would get this big. I have put some hose, like old pantyhose, and just put it up on the panel there, and then swooped it under it just to kind of hold it. But I had no idea that they got this big or anything like that, and it is just huge. I just cannot believe it. It looks like it's doing okay. I've never grown these things before, so I don't know really what to look for other than just typical squash growing things, or pumpkin growing things. So yeah, that is super exciting. I hope that I honestly don't even know how to tell when I'm supposed to harvest it. If anybody has grown a cushaw pumpkin before, please let me know in the comments what to expect, what to do. What I have heard about this plant is these seeds came, oh look, there's the squash bug eggs that I was telling y'all about right there. So I'm going to have to get those and get them out of here so they don't grow into squash bugs. This plant, the seeds for this plant, I should say, came from a prize-winning pumpkin at the fair here in our hometown. The man who gave me these seeds, he grew the cushaw pumpkin, and it actually won. I can't remember what he told me it won, if it was for the biggest or for the most like it tasted the best. I can't remember what he said, but it won at the fair, and he had saved those seeds, and he gave me some to plant to kind of carry it on. And now maybe I can. Maybe I will be able to with these that are growing. So, very exciting. So I am going to show you the rest of the garden, and I'm going to come back and get those squash bug eggs and take them up there to the grass where my soapy water is, because I didn't bring it down here with me. Anytime you see bugs, just squash them. Squish them, squash them. Get them out of here. Because this is the time of year where the pest pressure is usually pretty high, and you're battling the bugs every day. Okay, so down along over here, I need to pull this over here now. We have our rattlesnake pole beans. They are starting to grow and climb the trellis. I don't see any blooms on them yet, but these are seeds that I planted in the middle of that drought, and they have germinated and taken off and done really well. Let's see. I am going to walk back up this way and not put your eyes in the sun because it is bright. The next couple of rows will be our green beans, and the first row is one that I planted a long time ago, and when I was looking at that plant because it looked so different, I wasn't sure what that was. Sometimes you have volunteer things show up in your garden. Sometimes you just have things or maybe are weeds and you don't really know what's going on, so you have to kind of stop and look. This first row is jade bush beans. They are really good. I like those. They grow well, they do well, they taste good. So there's some that the heat has really beaten their leaves up with and so forth, but they've been doing good. The second row are contender bush beans, and they are finally getting up big enough and lots of blooms, and I think growing. We watered really heavily the other day, and so they are doing really good. It's probably going to be soon time this week to harvest some, which is good because I've only gotten like 2 quarts of green beans so far. That's not very many. We eat a lot of green beans because they tend to grow fast and grow well. So that is what's happening on that row right there. And you can see they do. They have, oh, there's a little bumblebee. Lots of bumblebees. Lots of bumblebees. But it's starting to grow. I will say last year we had a lot of green beans because of the rattlesnake pole beans being on the trellis over here that we call the volleyball net. And so I really think that that's why we had so many. We planted that whole row and they just grew crazy. Here is a sunflower. There's 2 sunflowers we planted, like I think an autumn beauty, a teddy bear, and Fantasia. I think were the 3 varieties. And so this one has 2. I've just kind of let it do its thing. And then there's a couple right here. And that one, I planted this whole row, but not everything came up. Not everything came up. Like that right there was a sunflower, but it just hasn't done anything. So, and here's another one. Here's one that I didn't think was going to take off, but it finally did. So we will just see. None of my sunflowers in the back garden did anything. So, these are some plants. Like there's a green bean ready to go. So we'll be out here this week to get those and so forth. So that is the garden. Okay, I wanted to get y'all out of the sun because I was going to walk back up towards the top of the garden. So just one more look. It's so pretty. So pretty, and so thankful that I've been able to water my garden this year, that hopefully it will be somewhat productive for preservation and things like that. Let's see. I don't think I talked about these pepper plants. These are the King Arthur ones. And then those were the Big Bertha. So the plants themselves look so bushy from what I've grown in the past. So hopefully pretty soon they will start to set their fruit, and I will have maybe some green bell peppers. We'll have to see, but I thought I forgot to mention that, but real pretty. So on to what I wanted to talk to you guys today about too is this week we received our turkeys that we had ordered. If you've been watching the channel, you know that we raise meat birds as well. And so we have been using Valley Farm Hatchery out of Muscle Shoals, Alabama, for our meat birds. We've always had pretty good success with those. If we've ever had a problem, their customer service has always been good, and so we've never had any issues. And so we decided we wanted to place some turkeys down with the goats, and we ordered this spring. We ordered 9 turkeys because you had to order a minimum of 3, and so we ordered 3 breeds. A bronze heritage, a white broad-breasted, and a red bourbon turkey. And so we ordered those back in the spring. You had to order them then to ensure, you know, that you were going to get them. So their hatch date was Monday, July the 11th. And they usually take a couple of days to ship to us from Alabama to here. And so we received those on Wednesday of this week, July 13th. First thing in the morning, our post office is really good to call us first thing in the morning so that we can go and get them and get these babies home, because as soon as they're hatched at the hatchery, then they're put in a box and shipped. They don't have any food, they don't have any water, and so they are subjected to the stress of transportation and just the stress of traveling, the stress of the weather conditions, and also their handling in that time frame where they leave the hatchery to us is a very stressful event for them. And so a lot of times when we get our chickens, then sometimes we have lost one or two in the shipment because of that. Or soon later, after they're here, after a day or two, they just cannot replenish what was lost, or maybe they were born with something that caused them not to survive. So we've had some loss in the past, and that is expected. A lot of times hatcheries, when you order a larger quantity, will send you one or two extra chickens to make up for that potential loss, because they know that realistically it will happen. It could happen. And so we ordered our chickens back in the spring. And like I said, we were their hatch date was this week, and I got the notification that they were shipped. And then we got the call Wednesday that the post office had received them. So we went to pick them up, and when I got to the post office, the mail lady, she did warn me that she could tell already that there had been some loss in our package, and just for me to know that. And she said that they have seen that. They had seen that because of the high heat that we have been dealing with this summer, and also the handling of them through the mail. So she did warn me that they have been seeing that, and usually when there are chickens or any kind of live birds like that in the post office, you hear them chirping and it's very loud. I walked in there and there were probably 6 or 7 boxes, and there was not a lot of chirping going on. So I feel pretty certain that not only did I suffer a loss, but there were several other folks that were receiving chickens that day, or turkeys, or whatever live birds, that probably suffered a loss that day. And that is something that we just have to prepare ourselves for, and we have to expect that that could happen. We also have to expect that that could happen in the next 48 hours, sometimes up to a week later. So, and then it's more, could be our fault, could be, something wrong with the chicken, when they were born. We don't know. We just do our best to take care of them how we can. So I was prepared for a loss already. And when I got my box, I really could only hear maybe one chirping. And that kind of made me nervous. And with me in the car that day, I had the sweet little boy that I take care of. He was so excited to go with me that day to pick up the turkeys. And then Olivia was with us too. And so I warned them that I don't know how many could still be alive. And so we got home, we opened our box, and the hatchery, like I said, we had ordered 9 turkeys. The hatchery had sent us 2 extra turkeys. So we had 11 in the box, and only 2 were alive. We had one that was probably the red bourbon turkey, and then we had one that looked kind of like the bronze heritage turkey. And so they were alive, they were chirping, they were moving, they looked fine. The little brown one was so sweet, and kind of quickly became our friend and was excited to see us. And so we placed them in the brooder like we normally do, that we raise our meat birds in. And we gave them some electrolytes because we knew they had been, without anything. So we wanted to give them those good minerals and vitamins and things like that to help replenish maybe, what they needed. And so, and then feed, of course, and then just kind of place them in our brooder to love on them and take care of them. And the brown turkey lived for another 2 days. And yesterday, Thursday, I came out to check on them, and she had passed away. So we had suffered that loss as well. So now we only have one little bitty turkey, and I called them my survivors, because I thought out of 11 and only 2 of you survived. You two are strong survivors. So there's the one little turkey left, and it is here in our brooder. I hope that it survives and it lives. It's all by itself, though. I know. Good morning. Good morning. Yeah, are you lonely? Yeah. Yeah. So I'm not so sure about this little turkey. We're still in that window that, you know, there's the potential for loss. And this is kind of how the other one acted the other day. I could tell the 24 hours leading up to the loss of that one that it just kind of got quiet. It slept a lot. It didn't want to eat. It didn't want to drink. It didn't want to do a lot. And so I'm hoping that that's not the case for this one too. But that's also part of the realness of living on a farm and doing things with animals, and even with plants. Plants die too, and so it's part of what can happen on a farm, on a homestead, anywhere that you have animals like that. So I'm not sure what is going to happen with that sweet little turkey. But we're trying our best to take good care of it, and see what happens. So to tell you what happened with the hatchery. So with the hatchery, their policy is that if you have a significant number of live birds that are if you have a significant number of loss, you must contact them within 24 hours to be able to either refund your money or to send out replacement birds. And so I was quickly on the phone trying to call them, but no one answered. I left a message. They also said I could email them, so I sent an email to them. And I kept waiting and kept waiting. And, to me, it was an urgency because these are precious little baby birds that, I paid for and excited to receive. And then I've lost them and just sad about it, of course. And then financially, what the cost was too. And it was quite a bit amount too for shipping. And so for shipping to not go so well too, it was kind of hard. But like I said, those are the risks that you take. And so I called the hatchery 2 more times after that. I still did not receive anybody. I know that they're busy. I know they've got a lot going on. So I'm not the only one, even though it feels like that sometimes. We feel like we're the only one and that we want to talk to somebody and get our questions answered. But anyway, they did that evening email me back, and they said that they were out of turkeys for the season, but that they would refund our money for our loss, and that I needed to upload pictures of the loss and fill out a claim, in which I did. And so they did. They reimbursed us for the cost of the birds themselves. Shipping was not refunded or anything like that. I guess that would be something that I need to talk with the post office about if I wanted to fight that situation. So anyway, I wanted to share with y'all just the realness of what can happen. You can have many times that you get animals from a store, from a shipment in the mail, and it go great, and then you get a shipment and it doesn't go so well, and it's hard and it's sad and it's hard. It just is hard, but like I said, it is the reality of it. And so we are just trying to do the best that we can and kind of just go with each day that's before us, and whatever happens, it's not in our control most of the time. So I wanted to share with y'all today that story about recently this week. We were expecting 9 new additions, and we were not we did not get those 9 additions, did we, Drake? Drake is excited to be here this morning, visiting with us, aren't you? Yep, getting some attention. You're not always in a lot of videos, are you, bud? Sometimes. Yeah. So that's what's happening here. We still have our chickens and turkeys. Like I said, we were just going to add those and see, a few little turkeys down in the woods, and with the goats and things to grow and have. You never can go wrong with trying to grow what can be just animals and pets that you love, or what could be food if you need it in the future. So anyway, we have our other animals that are still doing really well. We have our garden that I showed you earlier that's doing okay. And then we will keep you updated on this one little turkey. I'm kind of thinking that the turkey's probably going to get sad and depressed because it has nobody else to be with. So we might be looking around to see if we can find some turkey mates to go with it. But I don't know. We'll keep you guys posted on what happens with our turkey. But we want to thank you so much for watching our channel and watching our videos, and kind of just joining us in this journey each and every day and season and things that we go through. And so if you are new to the channel, stick around, keep watching our videos, subscribe if you would like to. And those that have subscribed, thank you for continuing to watch our videos. I know we don't put out a lot of content. We are still very busy in a lot of our work jobs that we do outside of just our farm here. And so it's sometimes difficult for us. So we appreciate y'all really hanging on and sticking around to just watch those videos that come out. I know that as a YouTube watcher myself, that you get excited when you watch those YouTube families. You get excited when they post videos because you want to know what's going on in their lives and in their farm and on their homesteads and gardens and things like that. So we will do our best to put out as much content as we can. So thank you so much for hanging around with us, and we hope that y'all take care of your gardens, take care of your animals, anything that you got going on around you. Take care of all those things and enjoy the rest of this summer that we have. And we thank y'all so much for watching, and y'all take care. God bless.